Everybody back. Deep breath. So peaceful. Thank you all for being here, and we're so excited to have this morning with us Reverend Anthony Chapman. We miss him dearly and sure hope we're going to see him more often now. And so it is my great privilege to introduce him to you. Reverend Anthony was born and raised in Akron, Ohio, where he spent 46 years of his life. And at the age of 3, he was communicating with loved ones who had transitioned to spirit world, and his work with transmediumship began there and continues to this day. At the age of 11, Reverend Anthony began his development privately with Christ and his guiding influences. By the age of 15, Anthony was working psychic fairs and doing readings. His work continued throughout his life, and in 2010 completed a 4-year program with Spiritualist Ministries and was ordained at the First Spiritualist Church in Kent, Ohio. After ordination, he began conducting healing and mediumship circles. In 2011, Reverend Anthony was asked by his guides to relocate to San Diego to fulfill his private ministry with mediumship, healing services, and teaching, which he continues to serve today as a self-employed spiritualist minister. Reverend Anthony has now dedicated his life to being in loving service to Christ and all of his team of guiding influences. And Reverend Anthony, when not working, spends much of his time in prayer, meditation, and deep contemplation with his guides. Reverend Anthony offers mediumship readings with art and tarot and oracle cards, energy healing, tuning fork services, and one of Reverend Anthony's passions is teaching mediumship development and reading modality and healing services. Reverend Anthony, when he first came to the church, was just so sweet, and his energy is just this light golden energy around him, and he just speaks with such intensity. And sometimes I have to tickle him to lighten him up a little bit. But his work is truly serious and in deep devotion, and he's such an example for all of us. Let's welcome warmly, please, Reverend Anthony.
Thank you, Deborah. Good morning.
Good morning.
In a long time since I've spoken, and I've truly missed it. This morning, one of my guides, Master Alexander, has prepared the first part of this talk for all of you today. This morning, Master Alexander asked me to speak about Advent. And back east, I started, it's called Advent Sundays, where the first, each week of Advent, of 4 weeks, we would gather, and I was actually able to do that here. It was either last year or the year before. And so Master Alexander wanted me to talk about Advent. And he wrote the pre-quote to this talk. He says, I, Master Alexander, of the highest divine light, of the highest living God, speak to each of you today on the yearly celebration of Advent. Advent is not a Catholic or religious event, yet many faith traditions celebrate it. Catholics, Lutherans, Greeks, and otherwise Orthodox faiths celebrate Advent. Advent means the arrival or a notable person, thing, or event. I, Master Alexander, work with the faith tradition of spiritualism. 14 years ago, I called Reverend Anthony to hold weekly celebrations on each Sunday in Advent and make them metaphysical and based on spiritualism. I led him to have themes each week and to conduct discussion groups during those meetings. Today in this talk, I have asked Anthony to share with you these celebrations, all 4 of them, all 4 weeks. And this is from last year's Advent Sundays. Alexander concludes by sharing, the purpose of Advent in spiritualism is to help us to prepare for the true meaning of Christmas, Christ's coming and arrival to earth. Most important, to keep us focused on our spiritual journeys despite the human hustle and bustle of the holidays. To keep us focused on the divine and in full alignment with our guides during the holidays, and to prepare for the earthly celebration of the coming new year. So each week Alexander, and years I did this also with Susan O'Shaughnessy, who's here today at the Healthy Spirit. And the last 2 years that I did that there, we did it together. And it was a wonderful. So each week there was a theme, a focal point. And last year, all of those, when I did it here, Alexander changed everything to meet the vibration of this church. Deborah and Rosie and Rosary. And for the congregation, I had quite a group, and I just absolutely love it. So today's the first Sunday of Advent, as Deborah mentioned. And today's theme would have been, come to the table. Each week we would do an opening prayer, which I'm going to share with you. Divine Spirit, let us now shift our awareness, consciousness, energy, and vibration to the highest place, space, and realm away from the earth on a quest and journey of peace and divine light. Assist us now to come to your divine table today. At this table, may we be divinely nourished and fed in all of our needs. Manifest your light, energy, and consciousness within us. May this raise our vibration and consciousness to the highest place. In the groups that Alexander would ask me to ask all of us, just for a moment or two, to go within just a moment, and what does come to the table mean for each of you today? Coming to the table can mean surrendering things that are no longer needed. Greeting Divine Spirit and all of our guiding influences. Shifting any challenging thoughts or concepts of the holidays. Many of us struggle with the holidays because We've all had experiences in life that sometimes during the holidays weren't always pleasant, maybe, or happy. But as we grow and as we learn, we can understand this perspective in a much higher way. So what has come to the table mean for each of us today? Come to the table for me is, in my life, has been offering my human self in response to spirit. And Deborah says today, and she's very right, I have to sometimes be tickled to lighten up a little bit. I take coming to the table very seriously. I take working with spirit very seriously. When we come to the table, we can offer more of ourselves to spirit during the holidays. Each Advent Sunday, we would end with a prayer. So for week one, our prayer is, Great Divine Spirit, thank you for this time away from life, a time spent with Spirit. Assist us onward and forward, taking with us what we have experienced here today in the meaning for each of us of come to the table. Help us to remember this time and space if we are feeling anything less than what we have experienced here. Remind us then of this time with you, this time of reflection, coming to your table. May all present here be filled with divine light and your unconditional love. The second week and theme for Advent Sundays in Alexander's Vibration is trust. Probably one of the most things as many people learn to work with spirit. We have to trust, and it's hard because sometimes we get tangled up in thinking that we're doing something. We're doing something. What we're doing, or what we need to do, is show up, connect with our guides and teachers, receive Spirit's message, and give them. These are very powerful perspectives, and sometimes we all, human ego is a part of everyone's human experience. And sometimes our egos get in the way, and we want to control and manage what Spirit's trying to do through us. And when we do, Spirit will, I'll just say, I've been stopped. And Alexander said, get out of the way. You're not trusting. You're relying on yourself. No, rely on us. We meet you everywhere that you are. The second Sunday Advent theme is trust. Divine Spirit, let us now shift our awareness and consciousness energy to the highest place, space and realm away from the earth, on the quest and journey of peace and divine light. Divine Source of all, assist us all to trust you more and more every day. To accomplish this need, we need your divine strength. Help us to accept your strength, to stay out of the way and trust. Remove all human resistance and barriers that stand in the way of accepting your strength, so we can trust you more each and every day. In the theme of trust, just a moment to pause with ourselves to what does trusting Spirit mean to each of us? And what do we need to do to trust Spirit more? This theme of trust was, again, probably one of the most powerful. They're all good and they're all great, but this one. Last year, Alexander gave the most powerful understandings of trust and how we can resolve any trust issues that we may have, even with Spirit. So he gave this thought for discussion in our groups. What are the barriers that stand in our way of trusting the divine more, and how can we remove them? What will it take for us to trust more consistently daily? It's really hard. It's really hard. Due to our humanity, we cannot trust on our own. We need divine assistance to trust. Our closing prayer for the week of trust was, Beloved Divine Spirit, thank you for this time away from life spent with Spirit. Help us all to trust in you more and more each day. Remove any and all barriers that stand in the way of our trust in you. Trusting you is so important and assists us day to day in so many ways. Not only in time of challenge do we need to trust, but in every moment each day. Our theme for the third week of Advent: accepting and using our gifts from Spirit. And I look around this platform and I look around this room, and I see so many of you here who are actively using your gifts of Spirit. And this is so refreshing, because that's what we're supposed to do if we would like to. We don't have to, but if we'd like to, we can. And I've had the personal experience of watching many of you learn, accept, and work with Spirit. And it makes me so proud to look at the ones that each of you know I'm looking at. Please pardon me, I just lost it. Accepting and using our gifts from Spirit. Divine Spirit, let us now shift our awareness, consciousness, energy, and vibration to the highest space and realm, away from the earth, on a quest of journey of peace and divine light. Assist us all to accept and fully receive the divine gifts that you have given us. These gifts are offered and given to us by the divine. Help us to take full action to develop these gifts and use them for the greatest, highest good of all who come into our path. Give us courage and strength needed to be in loving service to you at all times. Alexander gave these quotes last year, a few years before when Susan and I did this event. Some of these words are in quotes. So the first word in quote is gifts. Christmas. Holidays. Giving. Receiving. And action. God, Christ, Divine Spirit, Source and Divine of all things, has given us these spiritual gifts. Let us move forward always, receiving them, waking up, and fully using them for the common good of all things. He gave these thoughts for using your gifts. Do you have spiritual gifts? Do you know what they are? Can you accept them? Can you use them to be in loving service to Spirit? Alexander left this, and I didn't want to put this in here, and I fought with him. I fight with him. I don't always sit down and say, it's no do it. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I thought this was a little insulting, but it's okay. I wanted to leave it out here. He said, you will not. What will it take to get you to a place of acceptance and utilization of your gifts? Divine Universal Spirit, thank you for this time away from life spent with Spirit. Reveal to us the gifts of your Spirit that you have bestowed upon us. Give us your love, light, guidance, and strength to receive, accept, and fully manifest these gifts and use them to assist others and ourselves. Help us to stay focused on your light during this holiday season and find the grace and peace to give, receive, manifest all things possible. The final week of Advent, and someone in this room is going to react to the statement, and I didn't steal it. The fourth Sunday of Advent theme, are you ready? Are we ready? Are we willing? Are we able? Are we accepting? It was, are you ready to accept the responsibility? Is doing this work a responsibility? It is. Do we have a responsibility in it? We do. And that's why sometimes I have to be tickled. Because the responsibility in me has been understood from Spirit very clearly in my own personal journey, in my own personal life. We have a responsibility to act with integrity, respect, dignity, and gratitude. Divine Spirit, let us now shift our awareness, consciousness, energy to the highest place, space, and realm away from the earth, on the quest of journey of peace and divine light. Assist us all in being fully ready and present to accept the divine responsibility of the work you have called each of us to do. Help us to surrender all fear, doubt, human ego, which keeps us from being ready. Give us your grace, light, and guide our way, and the peace which comes from being ready and accepting our responsibility. he gave these few thoughts for the final week of Advent. What is in the way of us being ready? Anything? And if there is, he says, remove it. How can we remove those obstacles? He says, working with us, trusting in us, coming to the table, trusting, and accepting our gifts and using them. How can we fully accept being ready and present to act? We have to show up. That's all we have to do, and connect. And the rest is theirs. Highest God, thank you for this time away from life spent with Spirit. Remove anything in our way from being ready to fully accept the responsibility of being in loving service to you in any way that you call us each to do so every day. Help us to fully know how you are asking us to be in service to you. We know that you ask each of us to serve you differently, thus awakening in us the beauty of our individuality and the individual way you call us to be in service. In this final day and Sunday of Advent, the fourth week, this year, this season, this year, for each of us, remove any and all barriers that stand in the way of our divine relationship with you. May we celebrate with great joy and zeal this holiday season, keeping our focus on you and manifesting the highest. Thank you for listening today.